first live stream by myself. Bill's not here, Elias isn't here, so I'm doing this solo by myself. So this is just going to be like a Q&A. I'm going to talk to you guys. We'll discuss some topics. If you guys got some questions, hit me up right here in the chat. You know, we'll discuss what's going on. But first, I want to touch on this Sony issue right now. If you guys have Sony TVs 930 and up, it's like 930, 940, A1E, what is going on with this whole Sony and Dolby Vision debacle? Is there a debacle? I'm not sure if there's a debacle or not. But they released that update a few, like 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. There's no Dolby Vision through the HDMI update. Yeah, it's kind of bad. It's a little bummer. Like, I bought the TV like about a year ago. A little under a year, maybe like 11 months ago it came out. So I did the update. I was expecting to get Dolby Vision for my Oppo 203 player. No Dolby Vision. I was bummed. I woke up early. I saw the little logo that was like firmware update, and I knew this was like Dolby Vision. I did the update. You guys saw the video. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but if not, go check it out. I did the update. I was amped up because I bought the Apple TV. I got all these codes ready to watch Dolby Vision so I can do some Dolby Vision reviews, because I know you guys always ask what's going on with HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Did the update. Nothing works through HDMI. I was kind of bummed about that. There was like an article that came out, like Dolby Vision. There's like this new profile that manufacturers have to kind of do this firmware update so the TV and your source component can speak to each other. And right now, if you have an Apple TV, there is a firmware update in beta stage. If you're a developer, you can install that where the Apple TV can talk to the TV, to any Sony television 930 and up. You'll be able to get Dolby Vision, but right now, if you're just in a public beta, you're not going to get it. But there's some people on the forums that are saying that it does work indeed. So apparently there is a work in the progress. So you're going to get this this Dolby Vision update via firmware again in the future. So just in case you guys have a Sony television, be patient, it's coming. But in the meantime, Dolby Vision does work on Amazon. It does work on Netflix. It does look amazing on Netflix and Amazon. Yes, it does. It's better than nothing. Be patient. I know a lot of guys are complaining about it, but be happy you got something, right? All right, so let's hit some of these questions up here. Am I going to switch to an LG television set? I don't think so. Maybe if they come out with something amazing this year for 2018, which I didn't see, except for maybe the rolling television set. I may hit up on that one. That looks kind of cool. That may be kind of cool. So, gentlemen, who do you got? Birang Barzan. You got a Sony 65Z9D. That's a great TV. I almost picked up that television myself. But I did notice there was a little bit of ghosting on the bottom if you're watching letterbox material. And why are people mad about this whole Sony and Dolby Vision thing? Well, like I said, people waited a long time to get this update. They're kind of bummed about it. And we got Dark Cloud here, 1983 here. Dark Cloud, he's a Sony guy. Are we going to get the X700 soon with Dolby Vision update? Oh, Brass Tax is here. Oh, Enigmatic Pat. One of my faves. If you guys are part of the Dine at 9 channel, go check out Enigmatic Pat. All right, Dark Cloud. Anyways, if you guys have a Sony television with a Series 930 and above, I'm going to tell you right now, I did do the firmware update on that thing. I was amazed. I've seen Stranger Things Season 2, Series 2, and the whole event, the whole Daredevil. Let me tell you, when I did that update, the brightness and the color just like popped off immediately. I was just amazed at how bright the TV got. Like, I have never seen that TV gotten that bright before. I don't know if anybody's spoken about that before in any of these YouTube videos or whatever, or any of the forums, but colors and brightness looked amazing, which makes me think that once we do get some HDMI updates through the other manufacturers via, firmware, for our Oppo 203 or even the X700, your images are going to look fantastic. I mean, the A1E, people say that OLEDs don't get that bright, and LEDs are they just trounce over it. But let me tell you something. Dolby Vision on the Sony OLED, amazing quality. I'll be giving you guys some great reviews, 4K disc reviews using the television set. I've been using the Sony projector, the 675 ES for like the past year because I've been holding off. I did purchase the OLED in anticipation to do these Dolby Vision reviews. And I thought it really was going to happen this year. I thought it was going to happen, so I was going to do these Dolby Vision reviews on the OLED. But we're going to hold off a little bit more. In the meantime, all my reviews have been based on the projector. I know I get a lot of flack for that because, Shane, why are you using a projector? Quality is not as good as my television set. But man, if you guys think about it, 4K is about like resolution and color. On the projector, resolution is like king. When you're blowing up a 4K image at 126 inches, 100 inches, 150 inches and above, that's where 4K resolution really shines. That's where you're going to see a lot of the detail. And when you're watching on something like a 55-inch, 65-inch screen, most of the stuff looks amazing. But when you blow it up, if it's a crappy quality, you're watching it on a larger screen, it might not look so hot. So if it looks good on a larger screen, it's going to translate very well to a larger screen. So some of my reviews, I know I get a lot of shit for it because, oh man, you said this looks like crap, when other reviewers have said it looks fantastic. Yeah, it looks fantastic because those guys are watching it on a smaller screen. I'm not doing that. I'm watching it on a larger screen. Everything looks good on a cell phone size screen, right? But if you blow it up on your television screen, it may look like crap. It's called compression. Compression leads to degradation of quality, and the more compression that's involved, once you blow up that stuff, it looks crappier on a larger screen. So I just had to say that. Dark cloud is being nice. DV on LG is great, but DV on the Sony A1E does look amazing. I really can't wait to get that. I'm gonna have the player hopefully in March time. I think the X700 is coming out. So I think I was one of the first to have the X800 review up online on YouTube. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Check out that video that's coming out soon, hopefully. And the X700 is supposedly launching with Dolby Vision, which is a big deal. So Barang Barzin, yeah, the Sony X800 does have an amazing picture quality. I believe it does use the same processing chip as the Oppo 203. So for those that have the 203 and the X800, you'll notice that the image quality looks very similar because they're pretty much the same. I think the 203 has kind of like a customized chip, per their specifications though. Oh yeah, that's right, Mr. Shozama85. Heat does look amazing in 4K. Did you see my review of Heat on iTunes 4K? It does look really good. It's not like super 4K amazing or anything like that. Is it better than the regular Blu-ray? Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. Is it going to look amazing in 4K? I hope so. But in the meantime, if you guys have an Apple TV 4K, I'd say pick it up. It's like $14.99. Pick it up. It looks great. It's worth a watch. One of my favorite movies. One of my top 5 movies of all time. Not just for image quality, but for story and just imagery alone. It looks fantastic. Pick it up. And we got David Guevara here. I just went from a 40-inch Samsung U6300 to a 75-inch Q7. The Xbox looks effing amazing. Q7s are nice TVs. I hear that the second quarter. I know Dark Cloud, you're in the you're the Sony guy. Sony is supposedly releasing their 85-inch in the second half of the year, 8K panel. I'm excited to see it. I think they had showed it off at CES 2018 this year. I don't know what Sony's got to combat that, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be pretty pricey though. The DN1080, I've heard the DN1080. It's very nice. I don't know if you guys are in a home theater, in a receivers, but if you guys have checked out the Sony 1080 ES receiver, it's a nice piece of kit. Check it out. It's pretty beefy. It's pretty beefy for a Sony receiver. I don't know if you guys are down with receivers or not, but it's pretty hefty. I had a question here from D-Train. I don't think he's here in the chat right now. But D-Train had hit me up in the email. He had a question about whether or not he should upgrade from Dolby True HD to Atmos, and if there's an increase in loudness between Atmos mixes and True HD mixes. I haven't noticed anything between loudness levels. I know DTS mixes traditionally had louder mixes in the past, but like frequency response between True HD and DTS HD have been pretty much, I think, pretty much the same for the most part. I think they kind of boost up their low frequency effects at times, but that was your question. Do I notice that if Dolby Atmos is louder than True HD? I haven't noticed that at all. There's another question here as well. What 4K projectors? This is from Zimba's Doom Corner. He had emailed me as well. Said, hey Shane, I love the channel. I think it'd be awesome if you could cover projectors more and maybe make recommendations at different price brackets. Can't quite make the leap to a true 4K projector yet, and I know there were a couple announced at CES. Yes, there's quite a few right now. As you guys know that I use the 675 ES projector. There is a Sony 285 ES projector as well, which is kind of like a dumbed down version of the 675 ES. You're going to get pretty much the same resolution. You don't get like a dynamic iris. Image quality wise though, I mean, it's just as sharp. It looks fantastic. It's only $5,000. The one that I have is like $15,000. But for like 5Gs, that's amazing quality for a Sony projector. I'm sure you guys with Sony television sets are familiar with their upscaling capabilities, their image processing capabilities. Great quality picture. I've seen it many times at 285 against the 675. You get slightly better brightness levels on the 675 and contrast as well. But I mean, in a really darkened room, that 285 rocks. It's only $5,000. Optoma has a couple projectors as well. They're 60 UHD 65 or UHD 60 as well. It's like $2,000 for the 60, $2,500 for the 65. Their DLP projectors, contrast levels aren't going to be as good, but like sharpness wise and clarity wise, they look amazing. I love DLP projectors myself for 4K quality, even like 1080p stuff. I've been a long time a lover of DLPs. I know a lot of theaters use DLPs as well, and I love that sharp, really super sharp edge. So check those out as well. Optoma, UHD 65 and 60. There's a ton of reviews on YouTube. Check it out. But anyways, in the 4K world here, I did review Geostorm recently. I don't know if you guys have seen Geostorm yet, but I seen that in 3D like last week. I haven't seen it in like my local Best Buy or Walmart or anything like that, but I did watch it. It's a pretty good looking 3D disc. If you guys are interested in picking that up, check it out. It's got some shitty acting in it, but 3D quality was it's pretty good. I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of like 10. So check that out. Please talk about some speakers. If you guys have the money, if you guys are into surround sound, your speakers should be maybe like 70% of your budget. So if you had like $1,000, maybe you should probably like invest about $700 into your speakers, because speakers are like a really long-term thing. You invest a lot of money in some very high quality speakers, it's going to last you, you know, maybe your whole entire lifetime if you get some very good speakers. Whereas electronics, you know, electronics kind of go, they change every year. Every year there's something newer out. Maybe there's a newer format out. TVs gets better every year. Colors get better every year. Processing gets better every year. Speakers, they tend to kind of stay the same. If you get speakers that cost a little bit of money, don't cheap out and get some cheap speakers. Get the best that you can get. It's going to last you a very, very, very long time. That'll be one of the last things that you upgrade is your speakers. Whatever brand that you pick up, I mean, many manufacturers have different levels of quality from their entry level brand to their highest level. But get the best that you can, and that should be like the last thing that you're gonna have to upgrade in the future. That's what I gotta say about speakers. And trust me, I've had my speakers for over a decade, They still sound amazing today. They're still used in recording studios today. Spend a lot of money on speakers. Don't chint out on them. What's your opinion on THX certified speakers, and does a THX certified amp make a difference? I know it did back in the day, back in the 80s, the early 80s, late 80s, when George Lucas first introduced it. Why was it introduced? It's because he wanted to have like a certain level of quality that you would get in your home that sounded very similar to what you would get in a theater. So THX was a certification, so you would kind of get that quality in your house with your specific space in mind. That's why THX certified. That's why THX was kind of invented for the home. And was a fantastic sounding back in the day. Yeah, it was fantastic. Are my speakers THX certified? Yes, they are, because I've had them for a very long time, and they were THX certified at the time. They were supposed to create, you know, kind of a spacious environment in your home, which with a 5.1 speakers, you weren't supposed to be able to locate where the speakers were on the sides. No, they were dipole speakers. I got the M&Ks, which were tripole, so you could switch between dipole, bipole, or monopole, which monopole is very important right now with Atmos, because you kind of want that direct source. So I guess, you know, the speakers that I have, they were kind of forward thinking, which you can switch radiation patterns. But is it really important today? I don't think there's many manufacturers making THX speakers except for KEF. I think KEF has a line of in-wall speakers which sound amazing as well. They're super premium, super expensive. But most manufacturers, they're not really paying for that certification anymore, because, you know, you can pretty much reach, I think, the THX certified requirements in very good speakers nowadays. So it's not really like a thing anymore. THX certified amps. I don't think there's any THX certified amps right now, to be honest with you. Maybe some Parasound amps I think are still THX certified. I could be mistaken on that. Correct me on that if anybody knows. But I don't think it's really too relevant right now. I think Monolith or Monoprice has a couple of subwoofers that are THX certified, which are supposed to give you a certain SPL at a certain cubic footage of room requirements, but it's not really important. I don't think you should really judge your purchase on THX certification at all. Back in the 80s, maybe, but right now, no. What do I think about DTS-X? I think DTS-X sounds very much like Dolby Atmos. You know, whatever movies are there, sounds amazing. But as far as like DTS-X, I can't remember a standout movie that was in DTS-X. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't heard anything that was like standout in DTS-X. Maybe some of the Harry Potter movies. I think like the last one or two. I think those sound pretty good in DTS-X. But yeah, DTS tends to raise their decimal level a little bit louder than Dolby ever did. That's been true from just plain vanilla DTS to DTS HDMA to apparently now. Shane is so rich. His car costs 1.2 million. It's actually not 1.2 million. It's more like 0.2 million. And it's a little tiny Mini Cooper. I drive a little tiny Mini Cooper. Do I play music from CDs or SACD? I'm not a music guy. The only time I listen to music is going to be in my car. That's pretty much the only time I listen to music. Yes, Harry Potter and Jason Bourne is in DTS-X. Jason Bourne, the entire 4K series was kind of shitty looking, so I couldn't stand watching any of those. Harry Potter, I fell asleep on all the Harry Potter movies. That's why you guys have not seen a single Harry Potter review on my channel, because I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. What's a good mid-range receiver that does Dolby Atmos well? I will be in my living room. Good mid-range receivers, you can check out Onkyo. They have some good quality stuff. I have an Integra, which is kind of like a little pricier version of Onkyo. I've been an Onkyo supporter for many years. Some people hate them, some people love them. I think they're great. I think they sound really good, detailed on the upper end. Check them out. Denon's got some amazing stuff as well for about $500-600. Check that out too. Sony LifeSpace UX projector looks incredible at $30K. Man, I don't know what to say about that one. Maybe Dark Cloud can chime in on that one there. Shane, do you remember Superbit DVD? Yes, I do. I remember I had the Fifth Element Superbit DVD. They came in those silver cases. It was kind of like had that silver slip cover, if I remember correctly. The the ES receiver. I don't think that's mid range though. That's a bit pricey. I'm thinking mid range is more like $500. Why DTS-X not giving support like Dolby Atmos? Only a few DTS-X movies. Well, DTS kind of cornered the market on the standard Blu-rays, and then Dolby just kind of just came out of the gate really fast with 4K, and now DTS is having a hard time catching up right now. So they got a good like 1 year lead on DTS right now. And personally, I don't think they're going to catch up. Projector under 3K, help me choose. Like I said earlier, man, check out the Zimba Doom Corner. I say check out the Optimal projectors. I've had an Optimal projector before I got the Sony. I had the Sony, then I had a JVC, had an Optimal, had a Sanyo, had many projectors. Optimal was one of the better ones. It was very affordable as well. And their 4K projector is pretty affordable as well. It's under $3,000. It's like $2,500. Check it out. It's black as well, so it's going to match with your home theater decor. It's supposed to be very bright, very sharp. That's right, the UHD 65. I'm tempted. Check it out. Go buy it at like Amazon. If you don't like it, you can always return it. They have a very generous return policy. I would check that out. Epson's got some good stuff. Epson's not really like true 4K. They're using what JVC does with their E-Shift technology. So it's really a 1080p panel, and they're kind of like shifting pixels to get the to kind of simulate the 4K. With the Optoma, you're really getting like 8 million pixels. With the Epson, you're getting like 4. So is it really like true 4K? No, it's really not. It's an upscaled 1080p image to 4K. But does it look good? It does look good. JVC looks amazing. Like I said, I had a JVC projector with 4K enhancement. It looked amazing. Was it hard to tell from native 4K? It's pretty hard, but once you get a little bit closer, maybe like another foot closer, it's pretty evident that 4K is just crisper, sharper. You're gonna see the little minutia of hair on like your cheeks and your nose, stuff like that. So Renee the farmer, I'm assuming you live on a farm. He says, I'm running 524 and really like it, but would it be worth it to invest in 724? I think it's absolutely worth it if you have the space to run 724. The extra height speakers alone, because you'll have like front height speakers, and then you'll have two rear height speakers as well. And there are discrete sounds that kind of go in the front and on the rear as well. And they'll kind of zip back and forth depending on what movie you're watching. And also you get discrete sounds on not only the sides, but in the rear. And they all kind of mix together very well to really give you that good surround bubble. That's why it's called immersive. You really get a nice immersive experience. So I think it's worth it if you have the space for it. Cheers to good IPA. Yes. I don't even know what I'm drinking right here. This is some leftovers from the other night. This is Stone Ruination. Hey, did you pick up the Dark Knight series mastering in 4K HDR? Yes, I did pick up the 4K of the Dark Knight, Dark Cloud. If you had seen my review on it, you would know how I felt about it. Before 4K, there was the demo that they would use at Best Buy for everything, for sound and image quality. Well, the Dark Knight for 4K image quality is definitely not 4K demo material. I'm not sure why they would even use that. Maybe for Blu-ray they would use that. But for 4K, most definitely not. I wouldn't use the Dark Knight to show off your 4K display. No, I just wouldn't do it. Craig B, have you noticed a significant difference between 4K players when only comparing picture and sound? I did. I would say, Craig B, I would say between image quality wise, I'm going to say the Opal player and the Sony player, the ones that I've reviewed personally, were almost identical to each other. I know they use the same processing chip. Like I really couldn't tell the difference. But I did tell the difference between the LG player was the weakest of the bunch. There was actually banding in that one. That was like the worst. And it felt the cheapest as well. The Sony and the Oppo, they're pretty hefty players. You can tell there's some quality components in there. Check them out. Samsung player, be like right in the middle. It was okay. Was there a little bit of banding? Yeah. Was there a little bit of fringing here and there? Yes, there was. Skip the LG, skip the Samsung. We'll go with the Oppo player. Go with the Sony player. If you're going to shell out good money for a player, I'm going to say go with the Oppo player because they do continuously give you firmware updates, which are going to keep that player relevant for many years to come. Usually Oppo only keeps one particular model. They'll keep the 203, they're going to keep the 205. That's going to keep going for the next 2, 3, 4 years maybe. And then they'll continuously improve that with firmware updates. Whereas the other bigger companies like Sony, Samsung, LG, they're going to have a new player every single year. And of course, you're going to feel left out. You're going to feel like you need to buy the newest player. Whereas if you just shell out right now, $500 instead of $200 or $150 or $300, shell out the money right now for the expensive one. It's going to last you many years to come. Hey, Sony does update their players, yes, but not to the extent as Oppo does. Home theater enthusiasts will know that. Does the Sony A1E HDMI support Dolby Atmos? Sebastian Rico, no it doesn't. No Dolby Atmos. I haven't heard Dolby Atmos in Voodoo. I haven't heard it through, well, I guess it would just be through Voodoo. I haven't heard Dolby Atmos at all on the A1E. 4K Cinema HD. Hey, would you review Godzilla Monster Planet on Netflix? It's on Dolby Vision, 5.1 mix. I'm not sure if anybody's interested in my Netflix reviews or not. I don't see like a big thing about it. I mean, I guess I could probably do it, but then I would have to watch a lot of episodes of Godzilla to give you like a thorough review, and that's going to take a lot of time. Whereas if I'm just doing a 4K Blu-ray review, it's like 2-3 hours. It's a little bit easier to do, but we'll see. I'll watch one episode. Maybe it's amazing. If it's amazing, I'll watch it, and maybe I'll give you a review on it. Puppet35 says, Spare Change, do you like 4K streaming? Yes, I do enjoy 4K streaming. If you've been watching the channel, I've been doing some Apple TV 4K streaming reviews, which I think look very good. Very close to 4K Blu-rays. Do I think it rivals 4K Blu-rays? I don't think so, because you'll see some noise in darker areas. You'll see some compression artifacts, stuff like that. Even if you have a super fast network as well. I have a pretty good network. I think I have like, not this, I don't have the fastest. I have like 300 megs down, which I think is pretty quick. But I'm still getting some artifacts, stuff like that, and especially in like the darker areas, you'll see some noise and little things floating around in the darker areas. But it does look good, especially if there's movies that are available in 4K, which I think a lot of them are available on iTunes that aren't available on disc. It's like $15 for the 4K version. I'd say pick it up in the meantime, because it might be a while before we see it on 4K disc, but I like 4K streaming. I enjoy it. Barang Barzan, Shane, SVS is better subwoofer or JL audio? Man, that's a tough one. I think for the buck, SVS will probably give you amazing performance. JL audio, I've heard some of their Fathom speakers, which sounded amazing as well. They have some dual and single driver options. It really depends on what models you're kind of looking at. But I mean, their 16 Ultra is pretty beast, man. It's only like $2,500. The JL audios they're pretty pricey. They're up there. Like, they're very expensive. Bang for the buck though, man. SVS rocks, man. You can't beat that old PB Ultra, especially if you're dropping like $2,000, or if you can get like a dealer discount or something like that. Also, check it out. I don't know what your budget is, but you have to hit me. Let us know what your budget is. Spare Change, which 4K Blu-rays are you looking forward to watch in 2018? Of course, the best 4K Blu-ray is either going to be Justice League, which is probably like the best movie of 2018, right? 2017? Or maybe like Thor Ragnarok. That's the biggest ones I think on the horizon right now. Actually, no, I take that back. I think The Last Jedi is probably going to be the biggest Blu-ray release this year. Do I retro game on my projector or OLED, either with ROMs or NVIDIA Shield or NES or NES Mini? I don't game, but peace out, Dark Cloud. Check out his channel, guys. Click on his little photo there. Check out the link there. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel as well. He's got some informative stuff as well. Do I retro game on my projector? I don't game on projector because I feel that projectors have a finite lifespan on bulb life as of right now, because I have a bulb on there. I don't have a laser point source in there. So I don't game on it. If I'm going to game, actually I don't even game at all. I haven't gamed in many years now. So no, I don't game. Do I have a Patreon? David Guevara, man. You're always you leave me comments on my videos. You should know that I have a Patreon. It's in my description down below. I have a few Patreon subscribers as well. Thank you for asking about that. Yes, I do have a Patreon, but it's there. Shane, have you seen any recent Mike Zomidis? Shane, have you seen any recent laser projectors in action? Are they as bright as they claim? I've seen a couple. I've seen maybe like 2 of the Sony laser projectors. They're pretty amazing. I've seen them during the daytime and in some home theater setups in darkroom environments, and they're pretty bright. I wouldn't say they're game changers. I don't think they're not going to blind you with brightness or anything like that. I think the main draw right now is going to be longevity-wise. You're going to get something like 20,000 hours, which is like a very long time. It's many years watching 8 hours per day. Well, I don't even know what is like 10 years or 20 years or something like that, 8 hours a day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if my mathematics may be wrong. But that's like the main draw, like longevity-wise. You're not going to have to switch out bulbs, which is amazing, man. If I can get me a nice deal on a laser projector, I'm getting it. It's happening. It's going to happen. David, I would also like to watch a movie on your theater. What are the odds of us inviting you to my theater? I don't know if my wife would enjoy a lot of people in the theater there. Maybe once I move out of this apartment and have a house, I'll have a little get-together or meet-up or something like that. Techno Dad, what's up? Techno Dad is in the house right now. I've been trying to get Techno Dad on the live chat and Brass Tacks on the live chat as well. I think they are kind of camera shy. They don't want to get on the camera and have discussions about home theater or movies. I don't know why. I'm here by myself doing these live streams with you guys. But nobody seems to want to get on and do a live stream with me. Karen Pearson, love your work. Love the work you do. Thank you. Could you do a tour of your B&W system one day? I could do a tour one day. I actually had a nice tour on the SVS unboxing, but I didn't film it properly. I did it wrong. I hit the reverse, the buttons. Never mind. It's a whole thing. Techno Dad says he's not camera shy. So guys, expect Dark Cloud 1983 and Techno Dad to be on a future upcoming live stream. We're going to talk about home theater. We're going to talk about this new SVS system he's got coming up on his channel as well. Techno Dad, leave us a couple comments right now down below on the SVS that you've got coming in. What's happening with that? But Techno Dad, I don't know if you guys have checked out Techno Dad's channel or not, but he's got the SVS Prime 5.1 channel speaker home theater setup coming tomorrow. So I'm assuming he's going to have a review up probably next week. That should sound pretty exciting. I know he's got a lot of CES 2018 videos up that he did like last week. So check those out as well. He's always got some good informative reviews. Check it out. Hopefully he's going to pop up on the channel soon on some live reviews. Dave Guevara, I've always wanted to make a YouTube channel, but I'm camera shy. I want to share my knowledge with the world. I mean, that's why I work at Apple. LOL. David Guevara, you've got an iPhone. You got an iPhone X probably because you work at Apple, or an iPhone 8 at least. All you got to do is make your YouTube account, hit the little camera button, just stream to the world. All you gotta do is just talk. There's nothing really hard about it. You're just looking at a camera, you're just looking at your phone or whatever device you've got. You really don't have to worry about people saying bad things about you. I mean, they're going to say bad things about you, but whether or not you want to read them, that's up to you. Otherwise, you're just kind of talking to yourself. Do I feel a little silly to myself, talking to myself right now to a camera? It feels a little bit weird, but you get used to it after a while. So just go ahead and do it. And you know what? Maybe you'll make a couple bucks in the meantime. Vikram Verma. Verma? Yeah. Do projectors need to be certified for Dolby Vision in HDR10 to take advantage of the technology? Well, as far as I know, Vikrant, there are no Dolby Vision projectors, and there are also no Dolby, or there are also no HDR10 Plus projectors as well. I'm sure there may be something on the horizon. I know Sony has been talking to Dolby about doing Dolby Vision, but as far as HDR10, I haven't heard anything that's coming out anytime soon. So if you're interested in purchasing a projector based on those two criterias, I would probably not hold your breath. So thanks for checking out the live stream. There is an email address down below. If you have any questions for the next live stream, it's like sparechangereviews@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions, hit us up there. Any topics you think we should cover, any questions you have, we'll try to address it. So thank you for subscribing. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys again in the next live stream.